I was 12 when I discovered that trust is a double-edged sword. It's keen, shining, offering protection until it wounds you deeply. I relied on my brother, Caleb, until the evening I positioned myself in our family's garden, the bonfire snapping, and declared, if he's the hero you proclaim, why am I concealing his wrongs? The stars overhead faded, and I sensed the sword turning. The garden carried the scent of pine embers and hidden deceptions. That night, string lights draped over the arbor shone gently, a special flourish my mother used only when she aimed to polish the truth. Caleb, my elder sibling, reclined in a patio seat, a ruler on a temporary seat of power. He'd been staying at our folks' home for 4 months, a 36-year-old without employment or purpose, just a captivating smile and a knack for persuading all that he was destined for greatness. My parents, Diane and Martin, regarded him as a celebrated artist. Caleb's reorganizing, father remarked, adding another piece of wood to the blaze. He's got aspirations. Aspirations. The term lingered like soot in the atmosphere. I remained there, clutching a cup of chilled tea, observing Mother glow, her features illuminated by the firelight. My brother's wife, Nora, stared at Caleb as if he'd performed a miracle. Even relative Lyle, who rarely grinned, whispered he's unique. I felt like gagging. Unique? Caleb hadn't held a job in almost a year. He passed his time fiddling with his bike or enchanting unknowns at artisan pubs, labeling it forging networks. To them, he was a shooting star. I was merely the trail he left behind. I'd always been the reliable one, the person who repaired drips, settled bills, maintained the electricity. 3 years earlier, Caleb phoned me, tone smooth as grease, requesting a favor. Just endorse a rental for my fresh project, he stated. My software's on the verge of success. I've got it handled. I agreed. I always had. Then the removal warnings arrived, trailed by debt collector demands. $15,700. That's the amount he owed the property owner. That's what I was repaying, installment by installment, while he acquired a hide coat and flew to Vegas for financier gatherings. That evening, as father raised his brew to celebrate Caleb's revival, I noticed something. A darkness in Nora's gaze, not affection, something rough like she'd spotted a crack. She looked at Caleb, then at me, and averted her eyes quickly. My heart tightened. Something was wrong. It seemed like the instant prior to a storm. Quiet, heavy, electric. I couldn't contain it. The popping flames, the unquestioning worship, the knife in my stomach. I smacked my cup on the outdoor table, the cubes clinking. If Caleb's such a genius, I announced, my words cutting through the chuckles, he can reimburse the $15,700 I've been handling for him. Quietness, like the blaze had extinguished itself. Caleb sputtered on his beverage, golden fluid dripping over his clothing. Mother emitted a noise, part cry, part incredulity. Father's hand stopped, drink container halfway up. Nora's eyes grew large, but she didn't appear surprised. She appeared revealed. What do you mean by that, boy? Father rumbled, his tone attempting to quench the flame. I retrieved a binder from my bag, rental contracts, messages I'd dispatched to Caleb begging for reimbursement, proofs of his buys. I flung it onto the surface. This, I declared, this is my point. Nora grabbed the binder, her digits trembling as she reviewed the sheets. Her complexion paled. You were aware, she murmured, gazing at Caleb. He stayed silent. Just stared at the flames, his chin tight. Mother attempted to ease things. Ethan, this is a misunderstanding. Let's not ruin the evening. No, I replied, no more concealing. I met Caleb's gaze. You owe me. Settle it. Then I pivoted, abandoned the flames flickering, and headed indoors. But that wasn't even half. 3 days went by in silence. No communications, no texts, just a stillness that shouted more than speech. My kin avoided responsibility. They preferred concealments. On the 4th day, father messaged, join us this evening. We must resolve this. No regret, just an order. I gazed at the display, my heartbeat pounding. I responded. Why? No answer. I attended regardless, not due to obligation, but because I desired to observe how deep the fracture extended. Their residence resembled a tribunal. The cooking area table was arranged with Mother's antique teacups, as though China could repair treachery. Mother lingered by the basin, wringing a cloth. Father occupied the table's end, a yellow envelope in front, like he was concluding a legal dispute. Nora positioned herself near the pane, limbs crossed, eyeing the entrance path. Nobody uttered until Father slid the envelope my way. Examine within, he instructed. It was a bank draft, $15,700, precisely what Caleb was indebted. We're correcting this, Father stated, his manner abrupt. But you shouldn't have raised it that way, Ethan. I chuckled, icy and piercing. How often did I implore him to repay? How many evenings did I struggle to manage his chaos? Mother approached nearer, her tone gentle. Caleb's attempting, Ethan. He didn't intend to involve you. I accessed my device, displayed the proofs. A $900 timepiece. A $1,500 trip to Aspen. A $600 tavern bill. He intended it, I asserted. He simply didn't care. Nora's respiration caught. Her gaze dropping to the ground, that's when I perceived it. She knew something unspoken. The cooking space seemed to contract. My pulse thumped against my bones, my hands balled. I was finished protecting their falsehoods. You've all been supporting him, I declared, my tone harsh. You allowed him to destroy me and you applauded it. Father's gaze sharpened. He's your sibling, then why am I the one shattering? I bellowed. Nora seized her coat from the seat. I'm finished. She uttered, her voice scarcely heard. She glanced at Mother, then Father. He's not the individual you believe. She departed, the mesh door slamming closed. Mother placed a palm on her breast. Father gazed at the draft as if it could mend the universe. I didn't reach for it. I didn't desire their funds. I wanted the reality to wound. 3 weeks afterward, I received a message from a lady named Harper. She located me via a shared office's former member's site. Her note was a blow to the stomach. I believe your brother swindled me. Harper was a programmer who'd contributed to Caleb's software. He'd assured her equity, compensation after backers committed, an opportunity to transform the technology sector. She programmed without pay for 8 months. Then he disappeared. She wasn't alone. 4 additional females contacted with matching tailies. Caleb had peddled them an illusion, transforming learning technology, elevating overlooked perspectives. It was all vapor. He'd seized their programming, their time, their belief, and abandoned them with nothing. Harper provided evidence, chat logs, designs, agreements that remained unsigned. I made a directory on my machine, Caleb's frauds. I preserved every document, every correspondence. Then Nora messaged. She discovered something, a memory stick Caleb forgot in her vehicle. Within was a record, numerous names, unsettled obligations. Annotations like won't pursue or ignored. My name appeared, $15,700, resolved. Beside it, a section titled Backup Plan. Mother's name, $9,000, father's, $12,000. They'd been funding him, wiping his traces while I drowned. I rested in my flat, the monitor's light searing my vision, the facts etching into me. It wasn't solely Caleb, it was them. My parents had been informed. They supported him, guarded him, and permitted me to suffocate on his liabilities. I composed the piece that evening. Every identity, every fraud, every penny. I shared it digitally, not from fury, but because deceptions rot in shadows. It erupted. Caleb's reputation propagated like flames. His software collapsed. The females he deceived connected, reconstructed. I didn't, not immediately. My parents rejected me. Their concluding message labeled me a betrayer. I stored it and restricted their contact. Caleb disappeared. Nobody knows his location. I don't mind. I retained a message from Mother, however. Written on a piece of paper, pushed beneath my entrance. I let you down. Too delayed. The sword in my torso is absent now. I exist boldly. I exist truthfully. But I ponder, if you'd gripped that sword, would you have remained silent? Or would you have allowed it to slice loose? Share in the comments. I'm listening.